Hey, what's up guys? Here's another video for you. This is the Samsung Galaxy S7 and I want to talk about how close Samsung was to creating the perfect phone. I mean, I love the specs, the improvement, going from the 810 to the 820. The 820 doesn't have all the issues that the 810 had, the Snapdragon 810. So the specs are spectacular. I love the S Pay, Samsung Pay. I mean, that thing is cool. I think it's better than Apple Pay. I think it's better than Android Pay because with Samsung Pay, you can pay not only with the NFC, but also with the regular magnetic stripes. So it works at even old school magnetic stripe machines, and you're gonna get people looking at you like, "Whoa, I didn't know that could do that here." So lots of cool features of the Samsung, but like I said, they were so close to creating the perfect phone except for these flaws. And these are the 5 flaws that I found. If only Samsung paid a little more detail to these things, I think they'd have the perfect phone on their hands. So my first gripe with this phone is it's super sensitive touchscreen. I mean, I know what you're saying, super sensitive. That should be better, right? But in actuality, in using this phone, it's not. I just need it to be sensitive enough. I don't need it to be super sensitive. And what's happening is the biggest culprit really are the back buttons and the menu buttons. As I'm using the phone and holding it, it always triggers. When I don't want it to. Not only that, I mean I could just be going on the side like that. Look, I didn't press it, and it's already up. It needs a better palm rejection, better not finger rejection. If that's even a word, some type of rejection so that in using it, every little touch won't activate the screen. Now, in using my 6P, since November, since it came out, I mean, I don't have that problem at all. I've really never had a problem with any of the phones that I've used before. I mean, they're responsive just enough that I need it, but they're not overly sensitive like this screen is. And it gets annoying when you're watching a YouTube video and then accidentally, you're holding the phone and then you hit the back button and then you're out of your video and you got to go back into it and then scrub up to where you had it before. So it just gets annoying. So that's my first gripe, the super sensitive touchscreen. Now my second gripe with this phone is that it's tough to handle, difficult to handle. This stems also from the screen being so sensitive. You're so worried about not touching things inadvertently that you have to hold it in a particular way. So you always have to be aware of how you're holding it, and that in tune takes away from just being able to pick up your phone, grab it, and start using it. That type of usability. So it doesn't help that the phone is super sleek and slippery. Like I don't even know how that got touched. See. So it doesn't help that the phone is super sleek and slippery. So this is definitely a phone that I would not recommend using without a case. I think you need a case to give you something to grab so that your fingers are a little bit further away from the screen itself. You're holding the case instead of holding the phone, and you don't inadvertently press anything. My third gripe with this phone is it's about the screen. I mean, Samsung, they make wonderful screens. I think they've got one of the best screens on the mobile phone market, but at the same time, it could still be better. They could still improve this phone, and the first thing is really the only thing that I have a gripe with is the viewing angles. I mean, look at it. You can see the color get cooler as you shift the phone. When you're looking at it straight on, it's fine. But when you shift the phone, and it's got that bluish green tint. So, I mean, there's one way that you can improve this screen right there. Now, the next flaw I think is the home button. I'm not a fan of having to physically press the home button every time I want to get home. Maybe it's just me being so used to the 6P where it's an on-screen button. I just hit the 0 button or the circle and it takes me back. So, I mean, having to physically press the button to get back home, it's just an extra step that doesn't need to be there. And especially as a case when you're logging in, you have to press it and then keep your finger on it and hope for a finger. There you go. You have to press it and keep your finger on it to activate the fingerprint sensor. On the Nexus 6P, I don't have to do that. In the 6P, I can just put my finger on it, boom, it automatically wakes up. I don't have to depress anything, you know. So just having to actively press the button, I think there could be a better way to do it. Now, another flaw is the speakers. Well, I can't even say speakers. There's only one speaker, so the speaker, it is at the bottom. And, you know, I mean, it is what it is. You know, coming from the Nexus 6P where you have two front-facing speakers that are just blowing right at you, with the one speaker at the bottom, I mean, you can easily muffle it. You know, sometimes when you're holding it like this, you have to be aware of the orientation that you're holding it so that your thumbs and your fingers don't block that speaker, because as soon as you cover just some of it, there's a huge drop off in audio quality, you know. So I wish they had a better way to make better speakers. Would I take waterproof that feature versus better speakers? I think I'd rather get better speakers, because chances are I'm not going to drop my phone in water anytime soon. That's just the truth for me. So those are the 5 flaws. I know I said 7 flaws, but I couldn't come up with the other 2. These are the only things. It sounds silly if I said, you know, Samsung S7 5 flaws. It just sounds better if it's Samsung S7 7 flaws, right? So there you go, 5 flaws that I feel is keeping the S7 from being an amazing phone, because it's already got great specs. You know, I love the design of everything, but just these little things that are keeping it from being the phone to beat. I know it's early on and you have a lot of other phones coming up, but Samsung was close. Not quite. They were close. Maybe next year, right? Okay, guys, thanks for watching.